The difference is simple. Musashi is living and Matahachi is surviving. So here's the story about a samurai with the biggest ambition filled with failure, jealousy, and such bad choices that everyone knows he's the biggest fool that existed. We first meet Matahachi, the man who had it all, a promised wife, leisurely life, and a family that loves him. But this time, he is alongside Takezo at Sekigahara. Same battle, same starting point, two entirely different paths. After surviving the battle, he was hiding in a house with two women together with Takezo. Even though he had a woman of his own at home, he chose Oko and Akemi, abandoning his childhood friend and his fiancée. Without saying a single word, dwelling into lust, he was manipulated by Oko, showing weak resolve and moving out to Kyoto. While Takezo would become Musashi, forging himself through countless battles and hardships, Matahachi chose comfort. But it actually didn't last long for him because his lovely Oko was getting money for them by selling her body to other people in Kyoto. Meanwhile, he was a bum, just drinking the pain away and regretting not going back with Takezo. After a while, he witnessed a death of a messenger who had a pouch drop and he took it from the corpse. The pouch had money in it and a swordsman certificate awarded to Sasaki Kojiro. And at this point, he makes it clear he's going to deliver it to his parents as a keepsake. But he ends up stealing his identity instead because he got pressed by a few other samurai. And imagine being so afraid of your own inadequacy that you steal a dead man's name. Matahachi doesn't just lie about who he is, he becomes a living embodiment of imposter syndrome. He's even smug about it. He abuses the power of the name and drinks off of other people's money. Now this brings me to my environment because I've been noticing so many people nowadays try to do the same thing. They all try and portray this amazing image of themselves going as far as to buy fake items just to show it off. And some even became so bluntly caught up in the lies that they forgot why other people hang around them. Now, those people that don't know them see them as these rich or you could say successful peers, but as a matter of fact, they're living a fake lifestyle and they build upon it. I've seen those same people put so much pressure on themselves once stuff started to go well for them, made them hang around with real people that actually have money, so they ended up working their asses off just to continue the lie and hang out with other people. But what was the actual difference between Takezo and Matahachi? Both of them had burning passion to become the best swordsmen in their eyes, right? And once Matahachi actually claims a totally different identity, not knowing who it belongs to, he lies to himself. He lives as a fraud, and he's afraid that someone will notice he is not the legend that he tells himself he is. So he lives in constant fear of being exposed as a fraud. But why is that? Jealousy. The good reason. He was jealous of his best friend, but he did not want to do what Takezo did. He chose comfort, and he wanted everything that Takezo had. And this is still to this day a modern topic, because if you work for something and you have more than somebody else does, they're jealous. And what happens usually is it consumes them. And they want it, but they don't want to work for it. They do not want to live the life that you are living. Same happened to Matahachi. He did not want to sacrifice everything else for the sword, but he still wanted what Takezo had. And it's safe to say that he was very selfish. Here we mock Matahachi a lot in this story, but how many of us take the safe path instead of the right one? The tragedy of Matahachi isn't that he makes the wrong decisions, it's that he waits too long to correct them. Every day of living his lie makes it harder to embrace the truth. Every moment spent running makes it harder to stand and fight. And so he moves between different regions trying to establish himself. He struggles to maintain his fake identity. He lives off of others' generosity. He can't develop real sword skills. He avoids returning home to face his mother. He continues to dodge responsibility, and he struggles with guilt over his lies, not to only his family, but to his best friend. But you know what? After all of that, Matahachi was a good friend. He helped Takezo in several occasions when he nearly died. But the sad thing is that he wasn't good to himself, and he couldn't accept who he really was, and didn't really show himself to his best friend, until his foolishness ultimately leads him to ruin. Because of his lies, he killed his own uncle, because once again he got attacked by a few samurai that accused him of faking his identity, and he runs away. And in his stead, his uncle tries to protect him, and in the process, he dies. But not only that, because that mother that he was desperately hiding from was about to pass out. She was trying to find him all these years, and he was attempting to live a legitimate life, lying, stealing, avoiding the truth, returning to deception when things got difficult. But that all changed, because he faced Musashi, formerly known as Takezo, his best friend. After he slayed 70 men, Matahachi sees him in a near-death state. He saves him once again, and Takezo was unconscious in a temple with Otsu and the monk. He let it all out. He said everything he had to. Otsu didn't even recognize him, and he admitted to all of his mistakes. And even though Takezo couldn't hear him, it helped Matahachi a lot. And this is where he changes as a character completely. Redemption isn't about erasing your past mistakes, it's about having the courage to finally face them. And so he did. He finally found his relief, and he could start all over again. So he sets on a mission to find his mom before she passes to the afterlife. And again, once he does find her, with her dying breath, he promises her that they will go back to Miyamoto village. However, Matahachi was still lying, but this time, when he caught himself lying, he stopped. And he told himself that he is going to be genuine. And after all, Matahachi's life isn't over. He took the role of talking about the greatest samurai of all time. Unlike himself, he decided to talk about his best friend, Miyamoto Musashi. To say he wasn't on par with him, but to say that he was his friend and he knew him. But just imagine what could have been if after making the first mistake of leaving, he reflected on his actions and sought help from his close ones, trying to find Takezo once again. And the moral of this story isn't simply that you shouldn't be like Matahachi, it's a little bit deeper than that. Make your wrong decisions, reflect upon them, and fix them at the right time. The longer you wait, the heavier that weight becomes. We're not all meant to be Musashi, but we all have a choice. Will we merely survive, or will we truly live? And with that, if you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel and have a nice day.